continuum where past and future.
What's up, guys? Welcome in to the AandEPodcast. I am Andy Stowe. He is Eddie from Ackworth. And tonight we are joined by film breaker downer extraordinaire, Coach Hayes. Coach, welcome and thanks for joining us tonight, man.
Hey, guys. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me on the show. I'm looking forward to it tonight.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming on. Eddie was sending me messages. He's like, we got to get John. We got to get Coach Hayes. I was like, all right, let's do it. I'll send him some messages. Yeah, that's awesome. We really appreciate it.
No problem.
So, Eddie, how are you tonight, sir?
I'm doing well. And again, Coach, I'll reiterate what Andy said. Thank you for joining us. Coach, just real quick before I talk about me, tell everybody how they can find you. Your Twitter handle's up there, but how often do you put out videos that break down the Georgia Bulldogs, players, et cetera? Is that done live? Do you just throw them out there? How do people do that? Find you?
I have all my social media platforms set up through at Coach Hayes Huddle, and Huddle is spelled HUDL. And mainly where I go to start with is through Twitter and through YouTube. So those people who catch me on Twitter and they want more of it, they can't get enough of it, can go to my YouTube page and subscribe there. And I've got all my breakdowns. And I don't just break down Georgia football. I also break down just football plays in general, all genres of football, from pros to other colleges, different conferences, because to me, the game of football is such a mastery and it's done so many different ways. As you've heard, metaphor is there's 100 ways to skin a cat. And there's definitely that. And when it comes to breaking down plays, but when it comes Georgia football, as you know, the G-Day game, I have been like just a pig in slop, breaking plays down after plays down. So I probably put out anywhere from 2 to 4 breakdowns a week through Hayes's Huddle that I do for my segment. So anything that you want to know that connects the fundamentals of football to the fanatics that love the game, that's what I do for you.
Well, follow Coach. He's great. He breaks it down that even jerks like me can understand. And I'm not an analytical football guy. I'm a fan guy, but even I can understand it. So good. Well, Andy, you asked me how I'm doing. You know, the best part of tonight it's 57 minutes from right now. The mock drafts can officially end. You don't have to look at any more mock drafts.
Will they not update after the first round? They'll have updated for the second round, right? So there's going to be more.
Probably right. But you know what? You say that, Andy. As soon as it's over Sunday, the mock drafts for next year will begin.
You got to. Way too early mock drafts.
Yeah.
Who will the Falcons take when they're drafting 8th again next year? Will it be another wide receiver?
If they're drafting 8th, then I'm officially done with the program. Because they should not be drafting 8 next year, right?
Agreed.
Yeah, you may want to go ahead and check out something else then. I don't know what else to tell you. We've seen this. We've watched this movie for years.
Hey, Andy, I've been watching it a lot longer than you have too.
You have Johnny Carson. Yeah, Johnny Carson.
That's right.
Ed McMahon, who I had no idea was a part of the Johnny Carson show. So, I can't help you.
Yes.
Well, guys, before we jump into this, I want to get Coach's thoughts on the UGA football team and all, but I want to thank everyone that's watching tonight. And guys, if you can, go like our video and subscribe to our channel. Go like all of Coach's videos, subscribe to their channel. He's over on the Dog Dispatch on Twitter and on YouTube. Check him and John Tweets Sports. They're doing great stuff, so make sure you guys are following them. And hey, we appreciate it. And Eddie will send you some free drinks because that's why Coach Hayes is here tonight.
That's exactly right. Where are they at?
They're coming. Eddie will send it. They're coming from his house.
To you, I guess, Coach.
There you go.
Andy probably doesn't know what a fax machine is, though, right?
Yeah. What is that? Yeah, what is that?
Oh, that's scary now, too.
Well, Coach, one question I wanted to ask you is UGA lost. They lost Christian Miller to the portal. And then he said, you know what? I don't think I am going to leave. And then they picked up Jaden Rashada, quarterback transfer from Arizona State. And he also did not go to Florida, which makes it even better. So my question is, can you break down what Christian Miller staying means from a coaching aspect? What does he bring to the table, and why should we be excited that he's still here?
Well, we're excited that he's still here because he's a depth piece that we extremely need. And you know, from Kirby's defensive mindset anyway, to me, honestly, is there really a starting 11? They rotate so much that to me, if you're in that top 15 or 16, which basically means that more than likely you're not really replacing anybody at the linebacker level at the defensive back level. But basically, that's starting front four, outside linebackers, and even inside linebackers, depending on what scheme they're in. It's just a depth piece. And honestly, he's at that year where he should be making that jump. And, it really didn't make sense to me when he had decided to go. In fact, we told each other last night, me and John did, to pump the brakes on, just getting all overwhelmed about him leaving.
Yeah.
And sure enough, as we saw in a matter of 24 hours, people got in his ear. I'm sure obviously he had sat down with his coaching staff, and I'm sure that they basically said, look, let's look at the pros and the cons about this situation. Where are you at right here? Because, I broke down a few plays that he had done in the G-Day game. I know he came off the field with, it looked like maybe a stinger, but he really contributed and showed some good things on the defensive line. So he adds depth, and he's going to get to play. I mean, this is a guy that's going to be playing at a championship caliber level. And, I'm just glad he finally got his feet on the ground. As they like to say nowadays, touch grass and come back to reality. And he did that. And I'm proud for him, because that's a growth component for him as well. And maturity is a big deal when it comes to that. So I'm glad that the people that were, meaning something to him got in his ear and spoke some sense. But, like I said, the main thing is I see he's going to provide that depth piece that we truly need. And you're definitely going to see some plays from him this year. He's going to flash. I think we're going to see things from him this year, no doubt.
Yeah. Eddie, is this a guy that you think could be an impact player for the Dogs? Does he look that good?
Yeah, and I'm with Coach on that. When he came back, I was excited because that's another depth piece, right? You can't have enough linemen, in my opinion, offensive or defensive. But here's the thing that I was blown away with. He put up a video when he left.
I know.
It was basically kind of a rap video, and he was talking about NIL. So to me, it was all about money when he left, okay? But now he's back. Now, we'll never know what happened, right? But there is no way on God's green earth that Kirby Smart stepped up and said, well, we're going to pay you more than this university right here. He doesn't work that way, right, Coach?
Nope.
He doesn't operate that way. So something in his mind clicked. Maybe he went out there and he looked around and the money wasn't as great as he thought. I don't know. I'm just speculating here, right? But something happened to bring him back to the fold. And maybe you're right, Coach. He was surrounded by some people who got in his ear, the right people, and said, the grass isn't always greener over there. This is how you get to the NFL. You stay here at the University of Georgia.
And dare I say that they might have even thrown a little bit of an exemplar in there with what Barry Alexander's gone through since he's gone out there.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Yeah, I really do think whoever – and those guys, to me, honestly, the best peer pressure, you know how this goes. The best peer pressure come from those right around you, the guys that you're in war with every day, shoulder to shoulder. So I'm sure that the coaching staff had a little bit to do with it. But to me, when you got TID making him make a public apology, video apology on Instagram, and, you see all the guys surrounding him. And I think there was a lot of, I don't say peer pressure, but there was a lot of persuasion from his guys that he's played with, that he's gone to war with, saying, listen, brother, you stay here. You're going to be a part of something that's even more special than what it would be going out there just chasing a bag.
And you're right.
I wonder.
Sorry, Andy. You don't have to be a starter at the University of Georgia to make it big in the NFL, right?
Nope.
You can be a rotational guy and be the number one pick.
In the draft.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well said.
So there you go.
That's what I kind of wondered if they were like, if maybe he's friends with Bear Alexander. I wondered if they were talking. He was like, dude, come out here and play and get all this money. And then maybe there was kind of just like a pop decision. And then he was like, you know what? I probably shouldn't go out there and do that, because Bear Alexander, if he would have stayed here, could have been a first round pick. He probably won't be out there.
He's from Cedar Grove, and he's a hometown, basically in the perimeter of Atlanta, and thinking about going out west sort of at this point. I mean, if he was on the beginning side of it, maybe it might be a better situation, but he's got a year under his belt with growth and development that he knows he's going to continue to get better. And he's one twisted ankle away, Warren Brinson, of being possibly that starter, so that's the thing.
What year is Kristen Miller? Is he an upcoming sophomore?
He should be an upcoming sophomore. He's a sophomore this year.
But was he a redshirt freshman, or is this his third year? Or
this is his second year. I'm pretty sure he's a true sophomore.
I'm almost positive
he's at least this year and next year away from leaving for the NFL. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And next year should be his, his money year. His breakout year. He gets more developed and polished this year and gets a lot of reps under his belt. All of a sudden, we're talking about him being that stalwart defensive tackle that we have that's just going to be a game changer. And, or he's still going to be that needed piece that we have that gives Georgia this defensive line depth that we're always talking about we need.
And
You
Eddie,
can't
he
ever have
actually is a
enough.
redshirt. Yeah, he is a redshirt sophomore. This
I
is his
thought
third
so.
year. Yeah, so this is
Is
his
it?
third year on campus. So, yeah,
Okay.
So being his third year, this could be his last year, right? Because
could be.
Could be.
yeah,
Mhm.
could
Yeah,
be.
yeah, and I was really excited that he decided to stay. I thought it was kind of out of left field that he was leaving, but then you wake up and you're like, oh crap, he's staying. So yeah, I thought that was great. Another guy though, their Dogs did get Jaden Rashada. He announced that he was going to transfer to Georgia, and he was at Arizona State last year. I think he got injured, but have you broke him down, Coach? Have you looked at his film and what is Georgia getting with Jaden Rashada, and where does he stack up on the depth chart this year and potentially next year?
Well, to answer your question in twofold, first off, they're getting a quality athlete who's got a lot of the skill set potentials that you want in a quarterback. But every quarterback that we want in our quarterback room typically has those skill
You're going to
sets.
have that,
So
right?
what's got to be an outlier that really just takes it to the next level that Coach Smart wants? What I notice in breaking his film down, he's got a very quick release. He's got great footwork. I tell you what, he has to really step into the football. He's got to have great mechanics in his lower body because his ass has got to get some lead in it. He's got to get a little bit bigger and he's got to get a little bit stronger because he is not very big.
He's like
But
190. He's like 6'4",
yeah,
190.
I mean,
he is thin.
he kind of looks like Jaden Daniels, just
I
a
was
little
going to
bit
say
skinnier.
Jaden Daniels.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I really do think, as I like his throws, he's very accurate. He's very active in the pocket. He moves very well. His play action fundamentals are really good. His 3-step, 5-step looks really good. But the one thing that I wanted to see past that was what I told you about, and that is just those dispositions or soft skills. I went in and started looking at all of his pressers as he went over to Arizona State after that debacle that happened with Florida. And one thing that I noticed was how he handled himself, the transparency. He had a very good interview with obviously an Arizona State media guy, and he sat down with him and he was very transparent about what happened with him at Florida and how that grew him. And I really he may have been saying, if you talk about coach speak, you can call it athlete speak, but I really felt like he was heart to heart with that guy saying, listen, this is what happened. It wasn't fun. We didn't have a good time going through that process, but you know what? It grew me up and made me realize what my potential could be. And of course, going to Arizona State, his dad had gone to Arizona State. He grew up in that stadium, so it was almost like a second home to him. But of course, he had injuries and everything, and he's been redshirted for this year. So realistically, he's coming in the same class, transfer portal wise, that Ryan Puglisi's in. And guess what? We wanted Raiola with Ryan Puglisi. So honestly, to tell you the truth, now we have that duo quarterback group in that category. He brings in a competition that I think is going to be awesome because when Beck leaves, we hit the reset button, and now you're looking at Gunner, Pug, which I still want to see play. Golly bum, I want to see him throw the football. Yeah. And then of course Jaden, and then
Ryan Montgomery.
Ryan Montgomery, and then you got Curtis next year if he stays committed to us. So our quarterback room's going nowhere. To kind of put a bookend on this, solid guy who wants to compete. I don't think he comes in this year thinking, you know what, it's my game, it's my time, I'm supposed to start. I think he's going to come in and compete with Gunner. I think he's going to come in and compete with Pug, and I think he's going to be one of those that when we're coming into this time next year with spring, that we're talking about him being possibly a starter. It's crazy to think that, but it's one of those things that he could do that. And that's the beauty of it. If he's coming over here for those reasons, compete, get in that doghouse, see who comes out, and we'll take it. I think he's going to do a good job, and he's a good fit for us at Georgia.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, I know it's a kind of a childish or whatever, but I love taking a guy from Florida too that they wanted. Of course, I've been reading the Florida fans are saying, "Oh, we didn't want the guy anyway," but I love it. So.
Can I interject real quick here? What blew me away about this the most of all is that 6-figure salaries kind of roll off our tongue. 7-figure salaries kind of roll off our tongue. We understand that. He was in line at Florida. They promised him an 8-figure salary, $13 million. That's what he was told he was getting. Just let that roll around in your head for a second. That is unbelievable. Now,
that's what they thought about him.
Obviously, it blew up and nothing happened. He didn't get any payments, and so he left. But that just tells you how far we've come from a few years ago. Todd Gurley signed jersey for $3,000 and he's out for 4 games. I mean,
Oh
it's
my
just
God.
unbelievable what we're dealing with here. But I think you're right, Coach. This is similar to me to the Kristen Miller thing a little bit because, you know, I think initially he was in for the money. He was going for the highest bidder. And now he's kind of, after playing, he didn't play a lot last year. He was hurt, but he played a little bit. And now he's looking around and saying, where can I be developed and become that NFL player? Money be doggone, right?
Very
so
good,
like
very well said. Mentally prepped was what I saw with
Yeah.
him, and this whole year, this past year, I think his mental preparation brought him. And you know, when are we going to stop? Some of these people quit trusting, not trust Kirby Smart. You know that they sat down at the table and they talked about those things and they prioritized those things, and he knew what he was getting when he came here. So I think it was a great visit.
Figure deal under Kirby Smart. I can tell you that right now.
But I do know
Kirby's
this.
way or the highway.
I do know this. I think because of his commitment as quick as it was after his visit, and he went to the Clemson baseball game that night too. I don't know how long they stayed there, but there was a lot of good things that happened. But it's one of those things that he obviously was impressed and impressed upon to be able to immediately turn around and say, "Listen, I want to be at the University of Georgia." And he's going to compete, guys.
How do you not like the University of Georgia? I mean,
I know,
right?
Coach Smart, and we trust.
All of it. I'm talking about all of it. You go to the baseball field. You just Wes Johnson. All of it. Anyway,
exactly.
And it's good that you guys mentioned that he was at the Clemson game because I wanted to ask you guys: did y'all stay up and watch all of that game?
I hate to admit it, but I did not.
I fell asleep too.
Well, for me, I stayed up till the 10th inning, and it was like 11:30. And so here's the worst part: I set my DVR, and I was like, I'm going to record this till 12:30. I got this. I woke up the next morning, fast forward, and it cut off before the game ended. I was like, are you kidding me? I blew it. I mean, how do you predict a 15-inning game? But, Andy, to answer your question, I did not stay up, but that was a humongous win, and I think this is one of those kind of wins. I know baseball's funny. There's so many games, but this is the kind of win this team can look back on and say, this gave us confidence to get to the World Series or to get to the SEC championship or whatever. I think it was a huge win. They grew up a lot that night.
So that was my question. I was going to ask you guys, do y'all think this is big or is it just a midweek game?
Oh, huge.
Coach?
Well, what was it? 2019, they went 20 innings, and then now they go 15 innings, so 35 innings.
Clemson wasn't number 4 in the nation when we did that.
No, they weren't. No, they weren't. Honestly, to tell you the truth, I played the game of baseball in high school and played a lot of competitive baseball, honestly. To me, when things are going right, it's obviously Charlie Golston being back, I think, is really going to help, along with Jarvis Evans. Their pitching staff has to really come in and get hot because their bats are hot right now and they're playing good baseball right now. So to answer your question, I don't think it's just a midweek win. I think you like that kind of battle you've got. And I think this really sets up a great series at College Station with Texas A&M. And honestly, why not go for the series? Why not get 2 out of 3 from these bad guys and, and do that? I think it's, you hear these guys talk and they're hungry, and I really want to see them have the divisional at home, maybe get that opportunity to take it to Omaha. I mean, those are the corners you want to turn. Those are the goals I know these kids have set since day one. And it's really nice to see other Georgia programs being successful. I mean, they're 30-10. They got the number 1 draft pick in all of baseball and Charlie Condon and what he's doing this year. So answer your question, I do think that they are in a good spot right now with their hitting and with the way they're playing. And when you're positively motivated as a baseball team, you'd rather be on an upward trend than a downward trend. So
if they go out to College Station and take 2 of 3, that would put them at 11-10 in the SEC. What does that mean for them hosting a regional? How important would it be if they took 2 of 3?
The confidence level would be out of this world.
That's what I was going to say.
And that's honestly what you got to, have when you talk about just the psyche of that. It's not just the physicality of what you do and go out and execute on the baseball field. Obviously, I know they want to clean up their errors. I know they want to clean up their relief pitching, and they obviously want to start hitting better with runners in scoring position. Those are some of the things we've noticed. It's been at times a little bit tough, but to me, when when you take a team that is as solid as they are, and you're playing as well as you are, and you take the series and win 2 out of 3, that is great motivation and great positive psyche for the program as a whole across the board. Because when you feel that way, everybody feels that way. It's not just one person or two people that's feeling that way. So yeah, I think that's great for us, and definitely getting us a chance to come back and host a regional.
Yeah, that's I'm excited about. Like, this is the most excited I've been about a baseball team for Georgia since, I guess, the COVID year when they were really good then. So, staying in baseball, I do want to get your thoughts on the Atlanta Braves currently. So the Braves are off to a 17-6 start. They have the best record in baseball. They're doing it without Spencer Strider. Ronald Acuna has been iffy. You know, he hasn't been the guy that he's not hitting any home runs. You got Matt Olson that's really struggling. You got Austin Riley that's struggling. And Eddie sends me text every night about how bad Austin Riley is.
Because he is. I'm not making it up.
He's struggling. But the good news is they're 17-6. They just swept the Marlins. And you had Bryce Elder come up, who looked excellent in his first start. He had great control. I thought, for me, what I really liked about Elder, I thought his 2-seam had more of a downward break. I thought last year it had gotten flat, and maybe it was just because he was tired. And then 6 innings, no runs. Elder looked great. Tuesday night, you saw Max Fried. That was who we thought he was going to be. That was the guy with the career 3.04 ERA. He was throwing 95, 96, 97, hitting spots. His slider was working. His 2-seamers breaking, cutting in on him. His curve was great. Like, that looked like the guy we thought he was going to be. And then Ronaldo Lopez. He's been excellent all year. Like Eddie, again, a text. He said, that is our ace. Last night's what he told me about Ronaldo Lopez. So when you're watching those games with Elder and Fried, is this pitching staff with Charlie Morton and Chris Sale and Ronaldo Lopez, is this rounding the pitching staff out? And now where we were really concerned, should we be maybe optimistic now?
Well, I'll go. So what I love about what you just said, Andy, is that Bryce Elder goes out there and looks like the all-star from last year, right?
He did.
And that kind of came out of nowhere because he was in AAA. We didn't know what he was going to be this year. We didn't know
he
why
struggled in spring training too.
He struggled, and he was upset that he went down to AAA, and he kind of righted himself. He came up, pitched his ass off. Max Fried goes out there, tops it. I mean, a 9-inning Maddox, right? That's what we call it. 9 innings, less than 100 pitches. Unbelievable. Well, you know what Ronaldo does? He comes out and says, I got to be good too. And he comes out and does that. So I'm thinking tomorrow night, Chris Sale has got to go out there, and he's in his mind like, I got to do this, right? And that's what I love. It's the competition that these guys are setting up with each other. Andy, I'm going to ask you a question. Do you know how many wins the White Sox have?
3.
3. Do you know how many wins AJ Minter has?
3.
4.
Oh, okay.
AJ Minter's a middle reliever, and he has more wins than the Chicago White Sox. I just found that fascinating.
Wow.
Well, and where did the Chicago White Sox get one of their wins? They beat us. That's what.
Well, that's true. I didn't want to go down that road, but I mean, I just found that fascinating. But no, I mean, I just love the way, because I told you, Andy, I said a concern of mine a couple weeks ago, the bullpen I kind of thought was going to get straightened out, and they did. But the starting pitching has been terrible. Okay, it really has, for what we expected, right?
We thought we had 2 top 5 Cy Young.
Right. I mean, you can't predict an injury. That was a freak thing, whatever with Strider, but it had not been good. Fried looked like a AAA pitcher for a little while, and we didn't know what the hell was going on. The best pitcher on the staff's been Ronaldo Lopez, right? He really has. That's why I said he's the MVP thus far. And I just love now that we've set up a little competition, and Elder may be the guy. I hate to admit that Paul Maharry may be right. That's his guy.
Hey, that's fine. It's okay. Look, if Elder goes out and wins the Cy Young, I will happily say I was wrong about the guy.
Oh, yeah, me too. Me too.
You remember a couple years ago with the Mark Richt guys, they wanted Georgia to fail just so they could say, I was right. They should have kept Rick. Screw that. I would be happy to say I was wrong. If Elder becomes the guy, I hope I eat crow. I love it. So.
But one more thing I'll add on this, and we'll get away from the Braves. What they're doing is incredible because they have 3 starters down. Okay. Yeah. No Ozzie. Their best
he will be back tomorrow. So
I know he'll be back tomorrow. That's great. Yeah. But no Ozzie for what? A couple of weeks now. our starting pitcher, our number one ace, and he's the number one ace in my mind, is out for the year, right? And then you got Sean Murphy, and he's supposed to be the 70 guy, and I mean 70% starts. Right. Darno is 30% because he's older. It doesn't matter. Darno goes out there this weekend, and he looks like he's on PEDs knocking the ball out of the ballpark.
Yes.
I mean, come on. How do you argue with how this team is operating right now? It's unbelievable.
I can segue that a little bit.
One more thing. Austin Riley sucks, and Olsen sucks right now. But it doesn't matter. They're 17-6. Sorry, Coach. Go ahead.
No. I was going to say it's a long season, though. So wouldn't you love to see these guys that are coming in, that are utility players that are giving you the production that they are, along with these guys that we know should be producing? And all of a sudden, like you said, I think that builds a consistency in the pitching staff trying to follow one another to come out there and have high production. The players are feeling that way, too, because I know playing ball, man, when somebody was hot, you didn't want to be that fifth person that came up and there's no outs and everybody's hitting the ball, and you don't want to be that first K. It's the same principle. I think when Olsen and Acuna starts hitting the ball, and then you got these other guys that have been playing and being heavy contributors as utility players, man, that's going to be hell to pay for a good Braves team. I mean, I really do think you're saying, okay, we're just going out there and grinding every day, and we're what'd you say, 17 and
they're
17-6, and all of a sudden your go-to guys that normally should be producing start producing too. Yeah. Oh my God, that's just added incentive there.
It is. Yeah.
One more thing on this, guys. You know where Ronald Acuna was right now this time last year? Because we're all like, what the hell's wrong with Acuna? You can't hit the ball out of the park. He was at 13 steals and 3 home runs.
At this point last year, he only had 3 home runs.
Last year.
Really? That's incredible.
Yeah.
So you're saying we shouldn't be too concerned about him?
No. I mean, and that's what I love about Ronald. He affects the game in so many different ways. He doesn't have to hit the ball out of the park. If that guy gets on base, walk, hit by a pitch, whatever, he's on third before you know it. That's what I love about that guy. He's just an absolute game changer, and his play in the outfield is unbelievable. I mean, the guy, he's the MVP for a reason.
Yeah. He's the best right fielder in baseball. And I will say, you were talking about Austin Riley. Did you see that play he made last night? The catch, spin around, on his knees, throw it home, save them. Yeah, so I know he's not hitting, but I'm not going to use the S word on him just yet.
You think I'm saying to bench his ass? I mean, come on.
Yes, you're saying AAA, that guy.
Yeah. I think that's exactly what I said.
Just a quick question. Is Marcell Ozuna the MVP of baseball? Not just the Braves, but of the National League? Is he the Okay. I'm not I agree. I agree 100%. So
who else would it be? Name a player.
I can't.
Exactly. He's leading in home runs. He's leading in RBIs. Nobody predicted, and every ball he hits is like 110 off the bat.
He's murdering balls.
He's absolutely slapping the hell out of the ball. So he's the MVP.
So far, he is definitely, I would say, going into when they finally get to the All-Star break. If he's still at that pace, doing well, you could definitely say he's contingent to win it, no doubt.
Yeah. Do you think he can win it?
I don't think it keeps up. I mean, baseball does this, right? You know that better than anybody, Coach. It just does. Yeah. He's going to hit a slump at some point. But right now, we'll ride it and take it. He's just he's seeing the ball like it's a beach ball, right? He really is.
He is.
Can a DH win it, though? Do you think, even though he doesn't play position in the field, do you think he can win it as the DH?
I do, because all they care about is home runs and RBIs and hits and OPS and all that. Who cares about Gold Gloves? That's kind of a joke, isn't it?
I don't know. I think Acuna's defense helped him last year. I think his defense. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but like Kevin just said,
I know with if you take something like Jordan, you make Jordan to be the greatest of all time when you're comparing something. I know we're just comparing the one player, but you think about what was he? Not only a great scorer, but he was a great defender, defender too.
Wait, so LeBron is the greatest of all time.
No, he's not.
Okay.
No, he is not.
Okay,
I know, me too.
I know, me too.
Again, that's generational, Coach. We watched Michael Jordan. Greatest of all time. Sorry, LeBron. You sit there.
I say MJ. Don't worry. I'm on the MJ. I'm not a LeBron James fan.
I don't know if any of the top 5 scorers right now in the last 5 years could even play close to any of the defenses against them. If they played the 95 and the 96, 97 Detroit Pistons, oh my God. 94. Oh my Lord!
Go down the lane back then, LeBron, and let's see you watch a little bit. I mean, you're going to be dead on the sideline. That's what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Well, guys, tonight at 8 o'clock, the NFL draft kicks off. And as you see, I have on my name, don't Falcon it up. Eddie says, don't draft another shiny toy, please. Coach, we know that the Falcons always do some crazy stuff. Last year, we were like, oh my God, we're going to get Jalen Carter at the 8th pick of the draft. And they went out and got the shiny toy. Now, again, do I think that was a good pick? No, I think it's terrible. But I do think at least Bijan Robinson is a good running back. And I think he may go off this year. However, they didn't need that. That's not what they needed. What do you think is going to happen with the 8th pick of the draft? Will they stay there? Will they trade up? Will they trade down? And if they just all hypotheticals, if they stay in the 8th pick, what do they get?
Yeah, I was going to say if they trade with the Rams is what I'm hearing for the 19th pick, because I know the corners are in high demand versus there's a little bit a bigger pool of wide receivers out there.
Yeah.
If they do trade out for that, then that changes nothing as far as what they want to pick. It's just, to me, they need to stick with a defensive player. I would really like to see them find some type of edge player. I'm a defensive mind at heart, and I think honestly, if you have a consistent up just slightly above average offense that is consistent every year, top of the area, not giving up sacks, run productions in the top 5, your pass productions in the top 5 to 10. And, but you have a defense that's just out of this world. It's always top 5. To me, that's what solidifies a great football team. And they need
Georgia
it.
Win a national title 2 years ago. Or 3
you think
years
about
ago.
it. It's all from the defensive side of the ball, and it's at the line of scrimmage, which means to me that if they keep the 8th pick, the 2 that are out there, I think that probably would be a good fit is, you got Dallas Turner from Alabama, obviously would be a good fit as an edge rusher. And then, is it Latu?
Yeah.
That's from
Latu.
Yeah, the Latu Latu. I can't even say his name, but from
just
UCLA's.
did a good job.
I tried. As an edge rusher, I've watched a little bit on both of those guys. Dallas Turner was the only one that was an enigma to me, though. He's kind of disappeared at times, it seems. And, you didn't see the production you'd want to see in his last year, but he definitely has that it factor that I think he might have to gain a little weight to play that edge, on the defensive side of the ball. But you definitely saw what he did at the University of Alabama. He's definitely a freak athlete that can get to the quarterback, and that's something that you definitely need. I would say probably, you're looking at someone since, what is it, maybe Abraham? Golly, bro, that's a long time ago that we're talking about somebody that could be that productive at that position. But I think they go after somebody defensively. I would love to see them draft a Georgia Bulldog, but more than likely, I think their next pick it until like the 43rd. I think it's the 43rd.
Yeah.
And by then you may see a couple of wide receivers. I would love to see McConkey go in the first round to Kansas City. I can't be more elated for that. But if him maybe or Adana, A.D. Mitchell might be sitting there at that pick, that would be a really solid pick at the 43 spot. But to go back and answer your question, I really think they need to stick to the defensive side of the ball. Please do not pick a quarterback. I beg them.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people saying that they could potentially they're saying Michael Penix could go that high, and they're saying that the Falcons could take him.
My only difference would be is if Azune is available. If he's available at that 8th pick.
Roma Odunze from Washington? Okay.
All my hearing really wants that to happen. So.
That's what I was about to say. Eddie was talking about draft another shiny toy. That's what I think is the shiny toy if they do that. But
the
to me personally,
go ahead. Sorry, Coach.
No, I said personally in my heart, I'm wanting them to pick somebody defensively. They need to get somebody defensively.
Can I ask Coach a question? So, Coach, I want you to play GM, and I hate to rehash the past 3 drafts. I'll put you on the spot here. But it's been Kyle Pitts at 4. It's been Drake London at 8. Bijan Robinson at 8. I want you, Coach, to go back to the Kyle Pitts draft at 4. Who would you have taken there? Who would you have taken the next year? And who would you have taken last year? Can you put that together in your mind, or is that too much to think about on the spot?
That may be too much to think about on the spot.
All Eddie, right. I know. Go ahead with your 4th pick of the draft, Eddie. Who would you take?
Well, the 4th pick to me is Jordan Davis. I mean, that's who you take. Now, okay, sorry, Coach. I didn't mean to put you on the spot there, but I'm going to go ahead and say this is all Arthur Smith's fault that we don't have Georgia Bulldogs on this football team, okay? Mm-hmm. The 4th pick to me, Kyle Pitts, maybe he was great his first season. He really was with a good quarterback. He was 1,000 yards, but he, to me, if you draft a tight end at 4, he should be taking over the NFL, and he didn't do that, right? 1,000 yards. I don't know how many TDs he had. It wasn't off the charts. Okay, after that he was hurt. That's a pass. Whatever.
Right.
Jordan Davis there. The next play, 8. The next year, right? Who do we take? Drake London. And everybody. We all looked around. I texted Andy. I was like, "What the hell is this? A player from USC nobody's even talking about." Now, Drake London's a nice piece. I'm not going to say he's a bad player. He's a nice piece. That's Jalen Carter.
You're thinking Jalen Carter.
Sitting there in your face. Okay, so now you're taking Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter. Last year, let's just say they keep Bijan. I'm fine with that.
Well, last year would have been the Jalen Carter pick. Last year was Jalen Carter.
Sorry. I screwed it up. That was last year. Now, who was the 4 that I wanted instead of
Yeah, you wanted Jordan Davis the year before, and the 4 you wanted you gotta have to.
Yeah, I gotta look back. But anyway,
you wanted the tackle, Penny Sewell. Yeah,
Penny Sewell. It's Penny Sewell, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter. That's right. I'm sorry, I got the order screwed up. But all this leads me to say that Arthur Smith cost us tonight Brock Bowers, because that would be the pick right now.
Yep,
it would be the pick.
Well, GMs tend to overthink things, and just like you just put my brain into a freeze right there, I'm sitting there I think it's an overthinking process. I really do think Brock Bowers is going to get overthought by a lot of GMs tonight, and he is going to make a lot of teams very sad when he finally gets picked by somebody, because they are going to get themselves a gem in him, no doubt about it. I really don't see, honestly, to tell you the truth, if they go with someone other than a defensive player, it's really going to be disheartening, honestly, to tell you the truth. They need to solidify some defensive gameplay, because that's what's going to help get them around the corner, I think, going forward. Yeah, but you're right, though. It just seems like to me.
The only thing I'll say about all that is that in the press conference that happened after the season ended, the lamenting of, oh, my God, we were terrible. We didn't make the playoffs. And Arthur Blank comes out and does his little sad face and all that crap. But he brought up the fact in so many words, he's 82. He's only got a limited time left.
Exactly.
With a win now mentality, okay? So that was the Kirk Cousins signings. That's win now. Now, is drafting a backup quarterback at 8 win now?
No.
In my mind, it's not. It's not. It's drafting a wide receiver. I'll even say Malik Neighbors. Is that win now? Because
I think that's win now.
I disagree. I totally disagree with you, Andy, and here's why. Your defense was 32nd against 32nd getting after the quarterback. 32nd. We can put up all the points we want. We're up 30-20 in the fourth quarter, and we're going to give it away because our defense can't get after their quarterback.
Yeah.
Right, Coach? That's what we need.
Agree. You solidify yourself with defensive picks. I'm sorry, you just do. Offense can be out there all day long, but when you're trying to win ball games 42-35 every game, it's tough. And a lot of times those don't hold up. It just defense finally gives up and allows those offensive scores to take place. So it ends up becoming, just that warfare that you don't want to see. You want to see those defenses lock people down, and that makes the offense play even better. So a good offense.
Coach, what if Joe Alt's there?
I was about to ask that. What if Joe Alt is there and Dallas Turner? No, that's a good segue. No.
Ooh.
That's where it gets tricky.
Yeah.
You think Caleb McGarry is the guy there?
God, you got me tongue-tied again. I'm not sure.
Well, he's great in run blocking, right? But he's not as good in pass pro. And that's what we need with Kirk Cousins, right?
Yeah, you need someone who's going to be better in pass pro. I'm still going to go the defensive side of the ball.
Are you really?
I will. Yeah. To me, generationally for NFL teams, the offensive tackle position it is one of the most coveted positions because you're protecting the quarterback off the edge. But also, too, you got to think about who are those offensive tackles blocking? Those defensive ends that are getting after your ass. Yeah. So, that's the thing about it is to me, I just want somebody that's going to bring just a different – because you think about it, even when Vic Beasley, I know a lot of people may not be very high on him. I know him very well, very personally, actually. He's from up in my area. Oh, yeah. But Vic is you think about the years that we had when oh my God, what was the head coach back during that time?
Mike Smith.
Yeah, Mike Smith. And, I cannot believe I couldn't remember his name. But, I sit there and think about that. But Vic had, that one great year where he was getting
he led us to the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
That was a Super Bowl year, but you think about
Yeah.
it. Think about how that defense played. We were doing great things offensively too, but think
Yeah.
about how good the defense was too. That's important, no doubt.
Yeah, definitely. And with Bijan Robinson, you may have a guy, and plus, you have oh crap, the backup halfback now. Can't remember his
Tyler
name.
Algier.
Tyler
Yeah.
Algier. You have Tyler
Algier.
You have the halfbacks there. So I'm with you. The Joe Alt thing, I would consider taking him, but yes, take the defensive players, get that D line up good, because it's why did Georgia take a step back last year? We didn't have that impact defensive line. That's what the Falcons
That's
did.
right. We didn't have that game wrecker.
You changed the game at the offensive and defensive line of scrimmage. There's no doubt about it. You really solidify yourself if you establish yourself as a GM and you really build great offensive tackle play. You build that interior defensive line play, and then you start going after those skill players. Because, like I said, if you look at those people who have played longer years and have had more contracts given to them over their longevity in the NFL, it's typically those guys that protect your quarterback, and you'll see that a lot.
Is Dallas Turner, Jared Verse, who's the other guy? Latu. Are those guys game wreckers?
I don't know that Dallas Turner's a game wrecker. I just don't. I've seen him a lot. I've seen him play a lot because, one, I hate his guts because of the crap he said about Georgia. So screw him. I'm glad he never won a national championship, and Georgia won 2 while he was out there winning titles. So screw that guy. But I don't know that he is a game wrecker.
I said that about Will Anderson.
Is there a game? Okay, is there a game wrecker that the Falcons could draft on the defensive side?
I don't know. Well, hang on. Let me ask you this: are any of those 3 guys the 8th pick of the draft? So for me, I still think they should probably get Dallas Turner, but I want to trade down 2, 3, 4, 5 spots, and I would be happy with getting him at 11, 12.
You got to have a dance partner, and I'm afraid
you got to have a dance partner. That is true. But looking at this mock draft from NFL.com, they have the Minnesota Vikings taking J.J. McCarthy with the 11th pick. Do you think they get a little scared and ask the Falcons, "Hey, let me come up to the
scenario," because you pick up 2 first rounders.
You pick up 2 first rounders.
Oh, man.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
Are those guys? So, Coach, do you say stay at 8, take the defensive end, or do you say trade back? What do you think? Because I guess my question is, if Dallas Turner's there at 8, and so is Verse and all those guys, do you look at Turner and Verse and say, "Oh, Turner is this much better, we've got to get him," or do you think, "Hey, we can get Verse at, like, according to this mock draft, they have Verse going," and this is from NFL.com, they have Verse going 26th to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
And Latu's probably still on the board, as is Byron Murphy, right?
Latu's going 27th to the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah. You got a lot of options there.
Yeah, if you end up settling your pick out and you fall down on the draft board, then obviously the sky's the limit. I wouldn't really say that you're right. There's not really just a defining defensive player that is just going to make you be a game changer, as we said.
Right.
So then you turn around and maybe look at that opportunity. But I still say you go with somebody on the defensive or the offensive line, one of the two. I don't see you going away from that. But it does help the opportunities when they're there and you see what's available. And plus, it helps us out in the process, hopefully, going forward. But you still don't get away from either an offensive line or a defensive line take.
I agree. Yeah. Well, guys, I know we're getting close up to the draft. It's starting in about 16 minutes, so we're going to get out of here so everyone can go take a look at that. Hopefully, are happy come about 12 o'clock tonight.
We're not going to be happy. It's the Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to be texting you and Coach, and we're going to be saying, "What the hell is this?
I know.
Where did this come from?"
I'm just hoping this new regime, we'll call it that, I'm hoping they do the right thing and draft a guy that's not just a shiny toy.
Bill brought it up today. What if they show the War Room?
Oh, dude, and there's Rich McKay.
Rich McKay's in the War Room after all this talk about how he's moved on to the soccer team. It has nothing to do with the picks, and he's freaking sitting there front and center. And then they pick, an Iowa wide receiver. I don't know, whatever, you know.
Tight end.
Well,
Yeah.
you can always hope too that Raheem Morris is going to change the culture, and that has been definitely downtrodden, and that's something
But
that
the
you don't look
culture
at
is
as well.
Arthur Blank, Coach. It's
Yeah.
Arthur Blank.
But that's what I'm
right?
saying. Can Raheem Morris supersede that? I mean, is that something that can finally be done? I mean, is that doable?
Kevin says Cooper DeJohn, the great white hope at 8. Yeah, that's probably going to happen, Kevin. So, you know the Falcons. Well, guys, we want to thank everyone for watching tonight. We really want to thank Coach for coming on and joining us. We really appreciate it. This was
Awesome
fun.
insight.
Yeah,
I enjoyed the company. Thank y'all for having me on.
Yeah, maybe you can just be a regular guest for us. So that sounds good. Well,
I would love to, guys.
Well, Coach, tell everyone again how to get you, where to check out all your information before we get out of here.
Yeah, on all social media platforms, you can find me at Coach Hayes Huddle. Huddle spelled HUDL. YouTube and Twitter primarily, but I'm on Instagram and TikTok as well. I enjoy getting out the fundamentals of football and connecting them with that fandom that loves the game.
Eddie, got any final words before we get out of here?
Get your colonoscopy, get your blood work, and give blood. Save my life, save my wife's life. Do it.
Yes, sir.
Couldn't say it any better. Well, guys, do us a favor, like this video, subscribe to us, to Coach Hayes, to everyone that's to John, everyone that's on these things with us. We really appreciate it. For Coach Hayes, from Eddie from Mackworth, I'm Andy Stowe, and please God, Falcons, don't falcon it up tonight. Rise up, guys. See ya.